All right, so like I said, we try to make it as easy as possible to build with the Provide stack. And it starts with our 4 core services. And we have actually open sourced these very recently. And they kind of contain everything you need to really build something off of our stack, to build on a distributed network, to kind of do anything you need to. However, it is very well suited for the baseline process, the baseline protocol process, and we'll go over that in just a minute. But the 4 core services that we have open sourced are Ident, and that's an identity management service. Then we've got Vault, and that is a key management service for managing keys and secrets and things like that. And we've got InChain. It's kind of like a distributed network switchboard. It gets you where you need to go, it gets the information where it needs to go. And then we've got Privacy. That's, as Kyle mentioned, our no knowledge, zero knowledge service. It really makes working with zero knowledge circuits and things like that really simple, exposes a real simple API, and we'll go over that. All right, identity management. So with our service, we've got applications, and that's just like a bundled group of resources that users and organizations can use to do whatever it is that they need to do. And built into that, we have authorization and authentication via JWT tokens that each of these can possess, and that gives them the permissions to do the things that they need to do. It kind of gives them access to the applications they need to access, the other processes they need to access, so on and so forth. And here's a real quick example of participant management. This is how our Ident service is used along with a couple of our other services to organize an org registry for the baseline process. In this example, Alice is inviting Bob to a work group. So their organizations actually go and update an organization registry, and that is all using our Ident service, our InChain service, and our Vault service. All right, vaults are handy for managing keys and secrets and HD wallets that you may use in any of the processes that you're using our stack for. The keys, we've got a couple different keys here. It supports a lot more keys than that. They'll all be listed in our documentation a little bit later when we release you guys to the house to kind of go build what it is you want to build. We've also got secrets baked into vaults. Now, secrets can hold arbitrary data, anything you want to throw in there. We've got an encryption endpoint to let you encrypt whatever it is you're putting in your secret. And then, of course, you can retrieve it whenever you need. Privacy, this is the cool one. This is the no knowledge, zero knowledge service. And what we do is we take zero knowledge proofs, thanks to Myra here, and we expose an API that makes it very simple to use them. Essentially, this entire process here, it's the life cycle of zero knowledge proof. You would have to create that process on your own. And I don't think there's very many people that can really do that. So we made this API, we expose the endpoints for it, and you can do all this via our service, Privacy, and we did open source that to make life easy on everybody. There's a good chance you'll be using this if you're hacking with our stack today or this weekend. So do get to know it. It is pretty complicated, and we've included everything we can in the documentation. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to hit one of us up or ask questions in our Discord server. InChain, this one's really cool too. InChain kind of takes whatever input you give it, and it routes it to the correct distributed network. And it can handle things like accounts, connectors, contracts, networks, oracles, tokens, transactions, wallets, bridges, not listed there, a couple different things. But it's essentially the switchboard that connects what you're building to all the distributed networks out there, as long as you set it up and get the integration running. But yeah, it'll work with everything in our stack natively. Kind of anything you pass into it'll go where you want it to go. It's really handy. And there's 2 different services within InChain. There's a stats daemon and another one. I forget the name of it, but they will both listen for events coming in and monitor the health of all the networks that are out there. Reachability daemon, thank you. All right, and like I mentioned earlier, our stack's really handy for working with the baseline protocol. It just ended up that way. It wasn't built specifically for the baseline protocol. We have kind of tweaked it to help sort of match the processes within the baseline protocol. But so we've got our standard stack here, IDENT, InChain, Privacy, Vault. And NATS, Postgres, and Redis down there, those are microservices that kind of live under our stack that say NATS handles a lot of the messaging between services. Postgres and Redis do a little bit of work back there too. But then all we have to do is tack on this baseline integration proxy here. And what that does is it connects our stack with your system of record and kind of takes all these pieces and puts them to work for your system of record via that baseline proxy, and then dumps anything it needs to out to the connected EVM or whatever network you may have configured there. And to kind of go over some of the things that might be fun to build and to help everybody understand kind of what pieces are involved, where things fit, we're going to look at a couple things that you could build. So here we've got, this is an example of a connector. A connector just takes the provide stack and connects it to some endpoint, something that you need to connect to. In this instance, we're looking at a system of record, SAP. And the baseline proxy is actually a connector that we have built. It's in-house, it's not open source. However, it connects our stack to that system of record, handles everything it needs to, and really makes it a seamless kind of experience when you're working in that system of record. There's no need to kind of go back and forth. You just use your system of record like you normally would. And then that connector and then our stack does everything else for you. And examples of connectors that need to be built that would really help to kind of boost the ecosystem, or any other, say, systems of record, or any other services that may benefit from baselining. Again, so another example here is connecting different networks to our stack. Right now, we support most of the Ethereum testnets. We support Ethereum mainnet. We've got a couple different announcements coming out. We support Base Ledger. I believe we've just added a integration for the Open Permission Ethereum network. So building additional network integrations into our stack is really helpful in sort of expanding the capability of the stack itself and what you can do with it. And kind of along those same lines is adding bridges to things and adding functionality that can take in information and distribute information as necessary to whatever process is needed. In this example, we're looking at a Chainlink Oracle. Building an integration with that through our stack would be really helpful, say, in a baseline process where you need to verify or just know that the data you have is correct. That's a really valuable one. I do think we will have a bounty for that. There's a couple of these are related to bounties. So when you go look at the docs and you take a look at the bounties, some of them will be very similar to these. All right, and the tools you can use to build those things. The Provide CLI, it's a really simple to use CLI that kind of lets you use all aspects of our stack. It's even got, so the baseline proxy is built into it as well. So you can even interact with a baseline instance. You can send workflow messages, baseline, kind of whatever you want through the CLI. It interacts, you can create vaults, users, organizations, applications, work groups, workflows, anything you want to, you can build through our CLI. Tunnels, now this one's kind of hidden, and we have given you guys a freebie for this event. Tunnels is, it creates an end-to-end connection between two services that are running, and normally you'd have to tweak a firewall to make that work. And Tunnels is built into our CLI, and it handles that for you when you are sending messages back and forth. So yeah, that's another great tool to use. And again, it'll be built into the CLI over this weekend, a little freebie. Postman, I'm sure you're all familiar with Postman. We've got a collection out there. Snag it, learn the endpoints, learn the request. It's really handy. It'll help to explain a lot of things if there's any fuzzy areas. And then, of course, we have language-specific support libraries. There's a good number of them. I think we've got most of the popular ones, I'm not sure. And they're all working. They're all up to date. So if you need to use those, they'll be included in the documentation for the hackathon guide this weekend, too. And this is a quick screenshot of our CLI in action. It's really simple to use this thing. We have really tried to make it as easy as possible. And in this example, we have somebody creating a user, Johnny Young at Provide.network there, and then authenticating that user, and then creating an organization and a vault for that user within that organization. And from there, it's a couple more commands, and then you're baselining messages. It's really that easy. We do have a Discord server set up, both for this weekend and beyond. So if you need help, have questions, do hop in there, give us a holler. When the bounties are all posted, there will be a project lead for each bounty. If you can, reach out to that project lead if you're working on that bounty via Discord, and they'll be able to help you. And that's what I got, folks. I believe the documentation has been distributed. Have we put that documentation out there yet, Kyle?
Right.
Okay, it's my job apparently. Then we have not. We'll get it out right after this. And then again, if anybody has any questions, please join the Discord server, let us know, or ask us in person.
So
any questions, anybody?
I think there's a few things. Did you touch on the CLI?
Yes.
Okay. So the privacy service uses NARC, which is an open source privacy utility. That was a question that was just asked. I think it's important to know that. Yeah, if you, there's a lot of folks from Provide here that can help, and also on the Discord, there's people there too. There's some really cool art back here. There's like a miniature NFT gallery. Shout out to Jack for setting that up. You guys should check that out. It's pretty cool. What else? Guess we'll talk about BS. We'll talk about BSN. We'll get Tim Bailey on from BSN here at I think 1:15. So, all right, cool.
All right. Any questions other than what Kyle just clarified up here? Cool.